Welcome to District Dialogues. I am Marvin Arrington Jr., Fulton County Commissioner representing District 5. District 5 encompasses parts of the new city of South Fulton, southwest and southeast Atlanta, East Point, Union City, and College Park. Some of the great landmarks in District 5 include Zoo Atlanta, the former Fort McPherson, which is now home to Tyler Perry's new studio, the Porsche headquarters, the Camp Creek Marketplace, and my favorite, the Wolf Creek Amphitheater. During this show, we hope to share information about organizations, initiatives, and resources in District 5 and areas that I champion for Fulton County. So let's get to it. I'm a proud member of the Justice and Public Safety Committee for the National Association of Counties, also known as NACO. In our Justice and Public Safety segment, we like to share information from our partners that provide resources and information about justice and public safety. Please meet Kenya Johnson, Chief Deputy Solicitor of Fulton County's Solicitor General Office. Welcome to the show, Kenya.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us, what is restorative justice?
Restorative justice is what, at the Solicitor General's office, under the leadership of Keith Gamage, we have a model of smart, fair, and restorative justice. That means justice with a holistic standpoint. This is where we involve community, law enforcement, the courts, and prosecutors to fashion solutions for people in the justice system that leave them better than they were before they enter the justice system. That may mean alternative dispositions to avoid convictions. That may mean having a conversation with the victims of the particular crime and fashioning a result involving the victims.
And you all have been doing a great job with these expungement summits. Please tell us more about them, or record restriction summits. Tell us about that. Those have been great.
Sure. So in 2013, Governor Deal expanded the law to allow for more criminal situations or charges and arrests to be restricted from your criminal record. Of course, as you know, criminal record can be a barrier to housing, employment, education. And you can't even adopt a child if you have a criminal record. And so our record restriction summits allow for people to apply, and certain misdemeanor offenses that they were charged with but not convicted of can possibly be removed from the criminal record to allow them to have a better chance at success in life.
Well, you guys have done a tremendous job with those. I attended one, and there had to be over 2,000-3,000 people there to get their records expunged, so that is great. Tell us about some of the other initiatives that you all have been working on in the Solicitor General's office.
And Commissioner Arrington, thank you so much for your support of all of our initiatives. We see you around at all of our events, and we appreciate that. So we've just entered into an agreement with the City of Atlanta called Operation Double Victory, where we are communicating with the city and deputizing local prosecutors to come and try cases and prepare cases at the Fulton County level. As you know, we get cases bound over from the city, so that's a historic partnership that we just entered into. Another thing is that we've just announced zero tolerance on gun violence. We find that illegal guns contribute to more serious offenses, and as the misdemeanor prosecutor, Solicitor Gamage has the opportunity to speak to illegal gun possession, and we are prosecuting those cases to the full extent of the law so that we can avoid more serious offenses resulting from that illegal firearm possession.
Wow, that's great. You know, it used to take 2 years for a case to go 2 blocks from the City of Atlanta Municipal Court over to Fulton County State Court. And so I'm glad to see that there has been a big change in that.
Absolutely, and now we're getting cases much quicker from other jurisdictions, and it all rose from a communication with the solicitor in Atlanta, Rains Carter, and Solicitor Gamage entering into this partnership for the benefit of all of Fulton County.
Tell our audience what a citation only is and how that has traditionally worked and how it's working now?
So, in an effort to move cases more expeditiously through the criminal justice system, instead of filing formal accusations, we are now taking the citations from the police officers and filing those with the court. By doing that, it allows for less time to prepare the formal charging document. The charges remain the same. However, we get before the court much quicker, and we can prosecute on that charging document as issued by the police department. So it saves a key important step as we prepare the case for trial.
Well, that is great to hear because that way, I guess with citation only, people don't have to be arrested.
Well, with citation only, they don't have to wait for the creation of an accusation. And so once the case shows up on the calendar, after we filed it from the police officer, the exact citation, the copy that the person received on the scene, they can be able to resolve their case a lot quicker. If it's an arrestable offense, you'll still be arrested, but we're saving a lot of time and getting people through the court system a lot quicker.
So how can our audience find out more about the Solicitor General's office and the great things that you all are doing?
Sure. So the Solicitor General's office, including our 24-hour expungement hotline, can be reached at 404-612-4800. And we also have a website, fultonrestorativejustice.org.
Awesome. What was that phone number again for the expungement hotline?
Sure, that's 404-612-4800, and this is you can have a chance to speak with a restriction specialist who can see if your case and your arrest qualifies to be removed from your criminal record.
All right, and one more thing. You spoke briefly about the zero tolerance for firearms, but tell us more about that program.
Sure. So when we receive an illegal firearms charge, we're talking about underage possession or possession without a permit or possession in a location that you shouldn't be in. We have flagged those cases. We have over 200 in our office now. And in the wake of all the mass school shootings and the fact that many crimes are committed with illegal firearms, it's important for us to reach out and find out what's going on with that defendant, offer resources, and find a way that we can make sure that they are not in possession of illegal firearms, and that essentially makes our public much safer.
Well, you guys are doing a great job in the solicitor's office.
Thank you.
Thanks to you and Solicitor Gamish for all the great work. It is great and refreshing to see the change that has taken place in our Solicitor General's office.
And as a District 5 resident, I want to thank you for all of your representation, and we're looking forward to the continuation of great things in our area.
Awesome, awesome. Well, it is always a pleasure working with you. Thank you for joining us today, Ms. Johnson. I guess I'll see you around or maybe on CNN.
See you in South Fulton real soon.
Right. We'll be right back with our D5 Spotlight. Stay with us. Welcome back. In our D5 Spotlight, we give recognition to organizations and or individuals who are striving to empower our communities and our county. Our next guest is Alfred Gardner, MPUV Community Manager at Chris 180. Welcome to the show, Mr. Garner.
Thanks for having me.
So, what is Chris 180?
Well, Chris 180, we're a nonprofit organization based off in the East Atlanta area. Historically, we have provided housing, foster care services, therapy for the community, for families, for schools, and just for everybody.
And how does the work from Chris 180 correlate to the communities that you work in?
Well, currently, I'm working in the MPUV community, and that consists of six communities. So we're looking at Mechanicsville, Peoplestown, we're looking at Summer Hill, we're looking at Pittsburgh, Capitol Gateway, and Adair Park. So ultimately, we partner with Annie E. Casey Foundation so that we can look at acts of violence in the community and provide trauma training and trauma support for individuals when they're affected by these circumstances.
Awesome. I know the Pittsburgh Yard is a big thing, a project that the foundation is working on over there.
Absolutely. It's a major deal, and it's definitely going to bring a lot of light to the community. We can't wait.
So how long have you been working for Chris 180 in the MPUV area?
Come April 4th, it will be 3 years for me at Chris 180, but I've been in the MPUV area for roughly almost 6 months now.
Okay. And what type of work do you do in the communities?
So 2 interventions, we look at it this way. We provide healing circles and we recruit for a trauma response network. So the healing circles is an intervention that we provide in the community for people to come out, have a safe place to discuss acts of violence when they've been a part of it, and so that we can address the trauma behind it. The trauma response network is when we recruit community stakeholders and we train them in trauma. We train them in community trauma, generational trauma, residential trauma, and provide them with tools to go out in the community and support folks.
Okay. Well, I know that is hard work, so we appreciate what you're doing in that area. If you can, give us an example of one of those trauma responses that you have to deal with.
I'll tell you one of the ones that's kind of fresh on my mind because we kind of deployed out yesterday. There was an incident that took place on Metropolitan Parkway, somewhat near the Salvation Army. It was basically a shootout, so some businesses, residents were affected by that. So one of the things that we do, first of all, make sure that the individuals that was in that situation are safe, make sure that they have the resources that they need, hospital medical resources that they have. We support a program called Pivot at Grady Hospital that deals with victims that's been affected by gunshots. And we meet with these groups, these residents, and see if they need a safe place to talk about what happened, because that's not normal behavior. This incident took place around 11, 12 o'clock in the middle of the day. So we don't want to normalize that behavior. We want to address it right off, and we want to give people a safe place to be able to talk about that. So next week, we're probably going to have a healing circle at Salvation Army, more than likely, with all these businesses and stakeholders to be able to come in and talk about how that made them feel essentially.
Awesome. Well, certainly let my office know so we can be involved in that.
Absolutely.
And make sure we reach out to Councilwoman Joy Shepherd as well.
Absolutely.
Make sure we can help in that. So what are the overall goals of Chris 180 and the Annie Casey Foundation in addressing violence?
We ultimately want to put ourselves out of business. We want to put ourselves out of business at the end of the day. There were still pockets of violence that take place in MPUV. I will say that we have seen the neighborhoods and communities get better, so I don't know if I can contribute it to the work that I'm doing or other people like myself are doing in the community, but we're seeing the crime kind of decrease a little bit. APD does a great job. They do a great job of making sure that they address the community's needs, and ultimately we want to make sure that we can decrease crime, especially when it deals with gunshot wounds, people with gunshot wounds and acts of violence.
Well, I love the way you put that. We want to put ourselves out of business,
right.
and basically what that means is you want a place where there's no violence.
Right.
And so that would be a great place to get to. Tell our audience how they can find out more information about Chris 180 and the great program and work that you all are doing.
Absolutely. You can always go on www.chris180.org. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. We do a lot of work in the MPUV, so if you're interested in coming to any MPUV meetings, you can go to mpuv.org. It has a selection of events and meetings that you can attend and find out what's going on in the community.
Well, thank you so much for coming today, Mr. Gardner.
Thank you,
sir. It's a pleasure
sir.
to have you on the show.
Absolutely.
Thank you for all the great work that you're doing in addressing violence.
Blessings. Thank you.
When we come back, our motivational moment. Stay with us.
I want to talk to you today about love. With so much hatred and so much discord in our world and society today, we must learn to show love from the heart and not speak love from the lip. So today, let's show love.
As we wrap up today's show, I'd like to invite you to stay connected with my office. You can reach us by phone, email, website, and through our social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for watching District Dialogues. We'll see you next time.